The supinated hang with lunge is so important for your spine, shoulder, hip health because while you're hanging, you're decompressing your spine. Your shoulders are now open and in flexion. So that's the opposite of what you do all day. You're pronated all day. So supinate and hang. Shoulders are getting what they need. And then when you go into the lunge, that's where everything balances out. So because it's a drive on one side and a flexion on the other, you're experiencing counter rotation of the hips. If my hip is going back on this side and forward on this side, it can't twist. So any torque in the spine from how you live is going to be eliminated because you're going to alternate lunge, lunge while hanging. So the more power you can put into the extension side, it's amplified when you bring the other leg up because instinctively your brain knows that it doesn't want to rotate when the legs are going in opposite direction. That keeps you balanced, and the entire time your spine is out of gravity. You are hanging. So you can regress this exercise by being on a lower bar so that you don't have to hang all your body weight and lunge in the air. If you do that, you're still getting benefit because you're holding some of your body weight up, preventing compression in your spine. As your hips get balanced, how do hips get balanced? When the glute fires, the brain tells the hip flexor, so as an iliacus, to shut off to allow the knee and hip to go back. The hip goes into extension, hip flexors shut off. That's reciprocal inhibition. This muscle is working while these are letting it go. And then on the other side, you're actually training the hip flexor to be stronger. Most people's hip flexor issues are from tight and weak hip flexors, not just tight. So you never have a muscle that's just tight. There's always a neurological issue at play, and the best way to solve the issue is go to the opposite muscle group. If my hip flexor is tight, I use my glute. That's the beauty of the lunge because you're strengthening the hip flexor on the flexed side while opening the hip flexor on the other side. And when you alternate, you're doing the exact opposite. So supination, hang, lunge helps everything from your wrists all the way down to your knees. It's going to look like this. The leg that stays in contact is going into extension, hip, knee, ankle, and the other one comes into flexion. And when you come up into flexion, you're really trying to bring that knee as high as you can. The higher and harder you go with this knee, the more this side contracts. So it'll look like this when you alternate. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so the better you can drive that hip open when you flex, the better this works.